We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will get there. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. It will be hard, we know, that the road will be muddy and rough, but we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will get there. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. It will be hard, we know, that the road will be muddy and rough, but we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know, we know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will.
Good morning, and welcome to the live and in-person worship service for the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Our opening hymn this morning is number 100, I've Got Peace Like a River, from the Gray Hymnal. Please feel free to rise and sing as the Spirit moves you. The lyrics will be projected behind me on the screen. And now please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 100, I've Got Peace Like a River.
Like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul, in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got love like the ocean, I've got love like the ocean, I've got love like the ocean in my soul. I've got love like the ocean, I've got love like the ocean, I've got love like the ocean in my soul, in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul, in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul, in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain in my soul, in my soul.
Thank you for joining us here in person and those who are joining us remotely by Zoom, where we're continuing to live stream our worship services and post to our YouTube channel. I'm Alec Peck, a member of the worship committee, and I'm also your worship associate for today. Other members of the worship committee who make this service possible include Adam Wedeking, who's monitoring our visual and online connections, and Kate Lewicki at the back in charge of our sound system. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. We welcome you to our service, especially those who are searching for a spiritual home. Many of us are seeking something larger than ourselves to which we can belong, a sense of rootedness to hold us as we create meaning together. Whether it is your first time in worship with us or your 100th time, we hope that you will find value here and help you feed your spirit and live your faith. But before we move into the service, there are a few announcements that I'd like to share. I'm also going to mention a few email addresses, websites, and other contact information, which is all going to be up on a slide at the end of the service, so don't worry about writing it down, and it can also all be found somewhere on our website. A brief reminder first that our Sunday morning services will be returning to 10 a.m. starting in September. That's September 6th. That means 2 more services for the rest of August, starting at this early 9 o'clock time. The sharing of our joys and concerns is one of the important rituals of our community. An opportunity to share milestones, losses, achievements, and experiences. And on the first Sunday of each month, we hear from those here in the sanctuary, and we read the joys and concerns which you have received throughout the month. For those at home, you can send us those joys and concerns to uuchurchofriverside@gmail.com. And our next Joys and Concerns will be on September 6th. The Estuary Group gatherings are held on the first and third Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the Parish Hall. We discuss current events, philosophies, personal endeavors, or any topics that you'd like to bring to the table, and we will discuss them in a deep and meaningful conversation. The next meeting is going to be August 19th. That's this coming Thursday. Please join us to share in some stimulating ideas and community and some light refreshments. And for more information, see Mari, who's sitting in the back. The Social and Environmental Justice Committee meeting is also today, here in the Annex at 10:30 a.m. You can find the Zoom link and more information on the website under Social and Environmental Justice. Speaking of which, I'm now going to invite up Adam to speak on behalf of as chair of the Social and Environmental Justice Committee to talk about their current project. Adam?
Good morning. On, I believe it's the 28th, August 28th, we will be hosting with Riverside for Palestine book signing and panel discussion about the book Freedom on Trial. It's about the Los Angeles Eight, who were a group of people who were arrested in the late 80s, I think it was 89, for their protest for Palestine. They were 7 Palestinian immigrants and 1 Kenyan immigrant. 2 of them had permanent residence, and because they were involved in a protest that a radical group that had used violence was also involved in, they were all arrested and threatened with deportation. The ones who were on visas got their visas were no longer able to be renewed, and they had to leave. The 2 permanent residents continued for 20 years going through court battles in order to stay in this country. One of them will be here on the 28th. He wrote a book about his experience called Freedom on Trial. He will be here to talk about his book. We'll have a little panel discussion and book signing. You can get a copy of the book if you'd like. That's on August 28th. If you come today, we may have we got a small group, so we may have a really quick meeting. But we're going to kind of update what's been going on with housing and also start our conversation about the November election. There are a number of ballot initiatives in November, so we're going to start talking about that this Sunday. All right, see you after the service. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Our time here together is brief, but it is filled with joy. And in that spirit, I invite you to turn to those around you, greet them, welcome them, and share in that joy. Also, for those on Zoom, you can use the Zoom wave gesture or just wave at your camera. Welcome to all of our visitors today, and welcome back, of course, to old friends. We'd love to meet you during our coffee hour in the parish hall after the service, or you can also find our visitor's tablet. You can leave your name before you leave, and so that we know you were here, and your contact information for updates on church events. And now, I invite you to sit back and take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You're welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. The covenant of our church. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to live in harmony with all the living creatures and plants of the earth. This do we affirm. Today's reading is entitled Multiple Voices, One Faith, and apparently it can also be found in the pamphlet outside just in front of the door under the title Stitching a Layered Faith, I believe, is the name of the pamphlet. This article that I found, published in the UUA's seminal semi-annual magazine UU World in June of 2022, features the voices of Reverend Amanda Pape, senior minister in Arlington, Virginia, Reverend Abi Janamachi, senior minister in Bethesda, Maryland, Reverend James Ishmael Ford, minister emeritus in Providence, Rhode Island, and Dr. Janice Marie Johnson from the UUA. Unitarian Universalism is a religion of many voices and one faith, but it's more than just a merger of two American religious traditions from which we bear our name. Unitarian Universalism is not a place where we can just believe anything we want. It is a place to approach our growth as spiritual people with openness and curiosity, a place where multiple beliefs and life experiences enrich and inform our search. We piece together a faith in community that seeks to make sense of the world and empower us. Today's sermon comes from the UU World article, Many Voices, One Faith. But first, we have two lightings of sacred flame. The first is a remembrance candle for the indigenous peoples who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that we live off the unceded land of several indigenous peoples, including the Cahuilla, the Luiseno, the Serrano, the Keats, the Cupeño, and others. We light this sacred flame in their remembrance and in recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. Our second flame is our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion in our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be a part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's chalice lighting words are Bound by a Connection of Faith by Connie Simon. We light this chalice in recognition that our faith knows no borders. May this flame remind us of the connections that bind us to Unitarian Universalists around the world in common purpose, shared hope, and love. And now, our hymn is going to be number 123, Spirit of Life, from the Gray Hymnal once again. Please feel free to rise and sing as the Spirit moves you, along with the lyrics that are going to be projected behind me on the screen. Please now rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
Of compassion,
This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may also send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may also contribute to PayPal using the QR code, also shown behind me, as well as and it also can be found on the church website and in the newsletter. Gift cards that support the church can be purchased through RaiseRight for hundreds of places like CVS, many restaurants, and more. You get the full value, and the church also gets a percentage on top for free. See Robert Braun in the church office if you're interested in purchasing RaiseRight gift cards to support the church. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity. To those who give their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. And to all of you who join us here today, we thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please come forward to help receive our collection? A tote bag will also be passed around, in which we'll collect food and hygiene items for our local community. And now, our hymn is number 402, From You I Receive, once again from the Gray Hymnal. I ask you once more to rise or sing as the Spirit moves you, along with the lyrics projected on the screen. And please now rise in body or spirit to join us in singing hymn number 402, From You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
This part of our service is where we center and ground ourselves in the present moment. Please sit back, relax, breathe in, breathe out. Let your mind quiet down and enter into a peaceful state. Our meditation today is The Richness of Our Differences by Julianne Lepp. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May we be reminded that all beings are whole, sacred, and worthy. Let our hearts be welcoming of multiple truths, not holding hard or fast or closed-minded or judgmental thinking. What can we learn from each other in the richness of our differences? May the heart of compassion help us recognize the sacred in each other and bridge differences in these challenging times. May each of us be held in relationship, accountability, and the power of beloved community. Blessed be. Now let us pause for a moment of silence and reflection. And now I'd like to introduce Bill Casey, and I think a few other voices as well, reading on Multiple Voices, One Faith, or Stitching a Layered Faith.
Thank you. I'll read a bit of an intro here. The two people who are reading with me will read their part, and then I'll finish off on the last two. Our name is right there, Unitarian Universalism. You know we're going to borrow a lot of stuff. But the layers go deeper than the consolidation of two American religious traditions. Theological Unitarianism from the Radical Reformation in Eastern Europe meets 18th century King's Chapel in Boston. From John Murray at the Universalist Church of America to Swami Vivekananda at the World's Parliament of Religions, Christians, humanists, atheists, Jews, pagans, Buddhists, Muslims, spiritual refugees and lifelong UUs with multi-generational family histories, university scholars, ordained ministers, chaplains, and lay leaders, religious educators, administrators, and music ministers. Unitarian Universalism is not, as some may quip, a place where you can believe anything you want to. It's a place to approach our growth as spiritual people with openness and curiosity, a place where multiple beliefs, multiple traditions, and multiple life experiences will enrich and inform our search. In community, we piece together a faith that seeks to make sense of the world and empowers us to create change. There'll be a few voices from our magnificent quilts of faith. I will not be leading the first two, but for the person who's reading the first part. Nikki, thank you very much.
I am Mix Nikki Green. My pronouns are they and them. Thank you for letting me be of service. From Janice Marie Johnson. As a Jamaican child of the Caribbean, I understood that nature and science are intertwined. Science and nature are sacred, belonging to all. My grandparents and parents were nation builders who taught me to notice and question all that is our lives. Jamaica is home to churches, temples, synagogues, and many other communities of worship. As a child, my family encouraged me to ask questions about religion. I asked questions about everything around me, about God, Rastafarianism, the virgin birth, Catholicism, Jesus, sin, Judaism, and much more. Unlike my Sunday school teachers, my parents offered expansive answers and more questions for collective contemplation. At home, I grew up with the undeniable success of reggae, which crossed borders of class, matters of conscience, and religion. Rastafarianism, the dominant religion of early reggae music, was often shunned by the Jamaican elite, but things were changing. My family developed dear friendships with reggae and Rastafarian musical families, including the Marleys. To this day, I consider my Rastafarian Breda, Peter Tosh, to be a modern-day prophet. In his song, Equal Rights, he urges us to strive to attain equal rights with justice and to honor our ancestors and ourselves. His prayer is my prayer for our faith, for our fragile world, for all the generations. I was blessed to grow up knowing that children should be seen and heard. It is reminiscent of the UU message. The answer is to question. Our voices matter. They are sacred, and for this I give thanks. Thank you.
My reading is from James Ishmael Ford. The single most powerful source for my spiritual life has been silence. Discovering the place between words and ideas, tasting it, smelling it, listening to it, has opened up to me the rhythms of life and death into the heart of love. I have a formal practice that invites the silence. Over the years, finding regular times to just sit with it has been critical. Taking a few days or even a week to sit with others in a practice centered on silence has been life-giving. I've taken up this opportunity several times every year for many decades now. These days, as I age, finding it in less formal settings, on a walk, just sitting in a chair, in a moment when I may set my book down, has been a constant reminder. Silence tells me where I come from. It points to where I will go, and it runs a wild current through my life today. Silence informs my understanding of how we all of us rise and fall within rhythms at once subtle and larger than my imaginings. It shows me how I'm connected to the rest of my human family and to the larger family of things. I notice it as I inhale. I notice it as I exhale. I notice it on the turns in and out. My words, feeble things in general, attempt to recall what I've learned within those silent spaces where the universes are revealed. Sometimes I succeed. These words, birthed in silence, I've found, point to the great healing.
These words come from Abhi Janamanchi, the gentleman who we saw up here in Maryland. I grew up in a Hindu household. Some of my earliest experiences of devotion came from watching my grandmother every morning after her bath, chanting Sanskrit mantras in front of the family shrine. She embodied the Hindu idea that the spiritual journey is something deeply personal, between oneself and the holy, and then I need to find and follow my own path. So I became a Unitarian Universalist / Hindu. My UU Hindu faith declares that underlying and animating the human self is a reservoir of being that is infinite, all-pervading, an ultimate truth consciousness joy, Sat Chit Ananda, known as Brahman. The infinite Brahman is present in all things and all beings. My UU Hindu faith finds deep expression in a deep reverence for life and promotes the interdependence of all existence. It is grounded in the core of ethical values of ahimsa, which is non-injury, and daya, compassion. My UU faith focuses on life before death. It is about being awakened from our inertia to life again and again. It proposes a way of being engaged in this world that is characterized by liberation from the many manifestations of greed and by a deep affirmation of abundance and generosity. My UU Hindu faith promotes the inherent worth, dignity, and divinity of all beings. It rejects any social, cultural, or political systems founded on inequity and justice. My UU faith teaches personal responsibility and accountability. It reminds me that the consequences of our action extend beyond our individual lives. To be a UU Hindu is to do the daily work of investing my time, my gifts, and my life in service of a life larger than my own. This next piece is by Amanda Pape. When it comes down to it, my faith comes from the amazing, against all odds, courageous, beautiful resilience of the human heart. The way that people find joy after grief, courage after fear, liberation after oppression. I never fail to be awestruck by these stories. But every faith needs a wellspring, a source that can be continually renewed. And that's why I read romance novels. No, really. This minister is telling you that to read romance novels, well, if they help you to remember that love is always possible, or to watch children's fairy tales movies, which so often have at their heart a message of love and redemption after mistakes, or to collect the stories around the heroes of resistance in a broken world who keep on fighting or loving or simply surviving even when the system seems or is stacked against them. So often we imagine that our moments of spiritual insight have to come from the right kinds of places, from beautiful poetry in the woods. I love poetry and the woods, but what I want to say today is that the spiritual is all around us, that our faith can be replenished in the silly, the sexy, the sacred, that these things may just be one and the same. I once knew someone who found themselves in a deep valley of sadness, and they needed to understand how to continue forward. They found their way out through episodes of the Care Bears. So be exuberant with your faith sourcing. Allow wisdom to come in from every source. Perhaps, like me, you'll find a reminder of the heart's resilience in the least likely of places.
Thank you, Bill, for sharing that. And again, if you'd like to see any of those words that the stories that we heard today, it's actually outside in the pamphlet titled "Stitching a Layered Faith," just as the image has up there. But now our closing hymn is number 134, "Our World is One World," from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to rise or sing as the Spirit moves you. The lyrics will once again be projected on the screen behind me. Now please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 134, "Our World is One World."
What touches one affair? where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
We have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who forbid it. We are a people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. Namaste. Amen, and blessed be. Thank you, Bill, Grace, and Nikki, for all giving your voices to share in this reading this morning. We sincerely appreciate you and look forward to seeing you all speak for us again. We'll have 10 or 15 minutes to have a brief discussion here in the sanctuary in just a moment for those who wish to share their thoughts or observations on today's topic. Please be aware, though, that this will be included in the video that's posted. Otherwise, you are now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall for our coffee hour.
The thing I liked about the four messages that were read today is that sometimes you have to grid things down, tack them in place, possibly club them like a small seal, in order to get the good from them. For example, with the case we had here, we had the good that comes from being in a multicultural place and asking the questions to get go. And then there was the questions of what does silence give us? Because sometimes when we're looking to get all the good around to give us our statements, we don't listen as much to silence. God knows as much as I'm guilty of that at least twice more than normal people. But I also liked the thing that says, the Hindu gentleman was saying, there is a huge wellspring of just being. If you're going to bring something into your faith to cover the weak spots, surely the idea of a shimmering, universal field of energy that loves us is a good thing to add to your faith. And as for the last voice who says, if you can get good from a romance novel, and it's something that refuels you, if it's something like Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a good one for me sometimes. The fact that a broken soul can be at least partially regrown is huge. The idea that says, if you're going to add something to your mythic circle, that it should be something good, something that makes you better than you were before, and that makes you look at the oncoming Monday morning and say, okay, I got this. The way that they tracked it down from this sector to this on today's lessons was something that I thought was really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill, for adding on your reflection from your reading.
That was a great sermon. When we got that pamphlet and I read it, I thought that would really make a good sermon. I really like Reverend James Ishmael Ford, the quote that Grace read on silence. I thought that was really, really good. He's really great. We used to have a pamphlet called Faith of the UU Buddhists that he wrote. But I think when we talk about like theology and religion, there's a whole lot of concepts and ideas and things. And I really like his focus on silence, about the divine is what you find when you kind of put all that away and sit with the silence. That's where you find God. And I really like that, that thought versus, digging through books and books of theological theories and stuff. Just sitting with the silence and listening to that. I thought that was great. And also, I said last week about the big gay game show. Just want to remind you that's this Tuesday at Back to the Grind in the basement. Bunch of games, drag performances. It'll be a great time. So come check it out.
Come on up, Walt.
I liked everything that was read from today, but what especially stood out was something that Bill was reading when he came across something about wisdom can come from the least likely of places. I experienced that. My dad had all sorts of different people in his life, some that were educated, hopefully even to the 8th grade, some were not. Others were college professors. He looked for people who were honest, had something knowledgeable, and were honest, people of integrity. And then he would use them as advisors. Sorry, long-winded, but what surprised me was when I finished my 2 degrees, physics and math, in North Idaho, where people constantly cut down trees and make them into lumber. Not much room for physics and math there, actually. It's pretty direct. It's very physical. Not to look down on that activity at all. But when I finished, I wasn't sure quite what to do with myself. And of course, I did feel a little bit arrogant that the world owed me some special recognition, which of course is total nonsense. You have to find your own little niche and jump into it. But my point of all this is all those learned people, the professors, the high school teacher who taught at, I forget the name now, a very fussy school in San Francisco where only straight A students could attend. They all couldn't seem to say to me something very simple and wise, which this guy who, I don't know if he even went through the 8th grade, who ran a backhoe, a bulldozer for my dad, building a small subdivision down on Lake Coeur d'Alene. He said to me, I think you'd be happier if you were doing something along the lines of how you were schooled. I just think, he said, I don't mean to tell you what to do, but I think that would just make you happier. I'll never forget that. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt. I really enjoyed hearing the UU Hindu perspective as well that you read from Bill. I see a lot of, in my opinion, poor attempts of Westerners trying to incorporate various aspects of Eastern religions, especially Hinduism, into their practice, often seen, of course, through an incredibly Western lens. And I think it often comes off rather disrespectful to the cultures that they borrow from. And I think that there's a lot of really great ideas that, as you pointed out, that really well incorporate into the religions that are popular over here. But it can be done in a way that I think is a little bit more, not only more respectful, but also just makes more sense from both perspectives. but that's just my opinion. Any last comments before we go for coffee hour? Sue, come on up.
Hi, Sue, pronouns she and her. There's so much in that. I'm going to talk about the section that Nikki read on. The idea of questioning stood out to me and nurturing questions in kids. But then I was just sitting here listening and thinking, don't ever stop questioning. What's going on? How can we make a change? What can we do? Don't ever stop questioning. That just really inspired me to think of the Jamaican person whose parents nurtured those questions in that person. So, yeah.
You get to double dip, Bill, since you read our service.
I've taken that all the other times I've done it, I've been rehearsing for this moment. God, I better be magnificent. The thing that catches me a bit at the end about the last person who says, if you have a regenerative joy that comes from romance novels, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, fantasy novels, I think the thing to remember that gets tough anymore is we're going to be, I think they call it syncretism, where you basically, you have like 8 channels to absorb with, and you come in with 10 or 12 facts, and it's just so much, it's like a brain clog. I think that when, there's a line I heard once, a truth that destroys is not a useful truth. And I think as we're absorbing, these people who are absorbing here, they did ask the question, how does this help my faith? I had one of the pieces I read earlier this year had to do with the idea of what happens when the heroic voice is rewritten to be a non-heroic voice. I think in general, when we're looking at any faith that we're sharing with other people, that be a little bit shy about a truth that destroys and does not give them something at least as good coming back. And just as the piece that I was looking at that had Thor as suffering from PTSD, it was important, and it was important in the piece that we read now, to make sure that all of the add-ons that we're making, the spin, the secondary looks, the comparisons, are built for the basic goal of being the most loving, most human beings that we can be, and to share that light as much as possible.
Last call for final comments. In that case, let's adjourn to the parish hall for some coffee and refreshments. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts with us, and have a nice rest of your weekend.